Hello everyone and welcome back to LewisNews. In today's video we're going to be talking more about the Sonyverse and more of the Spider-Man spin-off movies that Sony are actually planning on making. And yes, that's right, El Muerto is back in development. But before I give you all the details on that, I want to urge you guys to subscribe. This is your #1 YouTube channel for all types of Spider-Man news this year, so make sure you are subscribed so you can stay in the loop with everything Spider-Man. We cover everything from the games, movies, and the shows. With that being said, let's get straight into this. So El Muerto, if you guys don't know, is basically a character from the Spider-Man comics, and he's basically a wrestler, right? And the premise is that Spider-Man originally goes up against El Muerto before they both team up to take on El Dorado, who is basically El Muerto's arch nemesis. Now, since this will be a Sony spin-off movie, the original idea, or at least the original concept that we thought would come to fruition would be that El Dorado would be the main villain of the El Muerto movie, since obviously it will take place in the Sonyverse and very likely without Spider-Man in it, just like how the other Sony movies like Venom, like Madam Web, like Kraven the Hunter all don't include Spider-Man in some form or another, although there may be references to Spider-Man throughout the entire film. But either way, this report is coming from Variety, and they have reported that El Muerto, the Sony spin-off movie, is back in development. Now, people will say, was it ever cancelled? Well, it very much looked like it was, yes. There was actually two factors to this movie's quote-unquote cancellation that pretty much confirmed to the fans, to us, that yes, this movie wasn't actually happening. Number one, the main star of the movie, or the person who was meant to be El Muerto himself, Bad Bunny, the musician, he was actually meant to be playing the main character. He then dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. At the time, we theorized on the channel that potentially this could be because the script was bad and a multitude of other reasons, and they just listed it as a scheduling conflict so Bad Bunny could drop out of the project. Or at least that's what we theorized at the time, because El Muerto's production was all over the place, which usually signifies a bad script. It usually signifies a bad and messy production, and we theorized this was one of the reasons why he ended up dropping out of the project. And then the next reason as to why we thought this movie was cancelled is because all news, everything about production, everything about filming just dropped off the face of the earth. This movie was meant to start pre-production and then start production pretty swiftly afterwards when it got announced in 2022, but then it came to a point last year where nothing was coming out about the film. Everything just kind of stopped, right? And then there was rumors that apparently the film was put on hold indefinitely, and then there was reports also coming out suggesting the same thing a few months later, and all that we were hearing about this film after Bad Bunny dropped out was that this was going downhill. So we just all assumed that this movie was cancelled. Sony were kind of putting all of their eggs in the Kraven, Venom, and Madam Web baskets, and they were just kind of trying to leave all of their solo movies alone for a second while they focused on the movies that they got coming out in 2024. But it turns out, according to Variety, that El Muerto is actually back in development, but this time it's actually without Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny will not play El Muerto, even though he was so heavily tied to the production of the previous version of this movie. So when will this movie come out? When will El Muerto actually come out in theaters? Well, if it's starting development again now, they have to recast the main actor. I'm assuming they're probably doing rewrites and reworking to the script. I guess I'm going to say maybe another few years, possibly 2026 at the earliest. I still don't know why we're getting this movie. Obviously, Sony sees something in this character that we don't. Like, out of all the Spider-Man villains that you can make movies about, this is the most niche character of them all. Like, this character, I think I remember has only had maybe 3 or 4 comic books in his entire history, but it turns out Sony believe that is enough to make a movie about him, which is completely insane when you've got characters like Black Cat that haven't had any sort of cinematic appearance apart from TASM 2. That's absolutely crazy to me that Black Cat hasn't had a movie yet when she's one of the most densely rich Spider-Man characters of all time. But either way, it doesn't matter. We're getting El Muerto. We'll have to see how it turns out. But either way, thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you excited for this movie? I want to hear all your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe like I mentioned at the start of the video so you can get everything Spider-Man. We cover all the latest rumors and news on the channel. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.